All right, today we're journeying to a place that feels, well, almost like a mirage. It's set against the wild, untamed backdrop of the Scottish Highlands, a perfectly planned, white-walled village that just kind of appears out of nowhere on the shores of a deep-sea loch. This is the incredible story of Ullapool. Before we get into all the details, I just want you to feel the vibe of this place for a second. This quote, it just captures the spirit of Scotland's northwest coast. See, Ullapool isn't just a dot on a map. It's more like a feeling, a gateway to that wild heart of Scotland. It's one of those places that really sticks with you, a launch pad for adventures that kind of get into your soul. So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with that surprising first look you get of the village, then dive into its history, which was literally forged by the sea. We'll uncover its lively culture, and then push out into the epic wilderness all around it. We're also going to meet the young guardians protecting its waters, and then wrap it all up with how you can plan your very own adventure. Okay, let's start with that first impression, because honestly, it doesn't matter how you get to Ullapool, by land or by sea, the experience is always just one of pure astonishment. I want you to picture this. You've been driving for miles through these rugged, empty glens and dramatic mountain passes. The landscape is ancient, raw, and feels completely untouched. Then you round one last bend, and there it is. A neat, orderly grid of whitewashed buildings just hugging the water's edge. It's the contrast that just hits you. This perfect little pocket of civilization set against the sheer wild scale of nature. And that's it, right? That's a real, unscripted reaction from someone seeing it for the first time. It just perfectly captures that feeling of discovery, of stumbling upon something truly unique. It almost feels like it shouldn't be there, but at the same time, it fits perfectly. So how on earth did this perfectly designed village come to be, here of all places? Well, its story, like pretty much everything in this part of the world, is completely tied to the sea. This was no accident. It was a huge, ambitious project, a symbol of industrial optimism just dropped right into the heart of the Highlands. Long before the village we see today, this coast was alive with ancient settlements and even Viking adventurers. You can still spot the stone fish traps they left behind at low tide. But modern Ullapool, it was born in 1788. It was a purpose-built town, a model fishing station designed for the herring fleets by the great Scottish engineer Thomas Telford. I mean, think about it. Imposing a neat commercial grid on this wild landscape was a radical idea. The boom of the silver darlings, as they called herring, eventually went bust. Classic story of overfishing. But the village adapted. And in the 20th century, it boomed all over again, this time servicing these huge factory ships from the Eastern Bloc, which were famously called the Klondikers. And you know, even its name tells that deep story. Ullapool is thought to come from Old Norse, probably meaning something like Ulla's farm, which is this quiet little hint of the Viking presence that shaped the coastline centuries before Thomas Telford ever drew up his plans. And this is what I love. It shows Ullapool's resilience so perfectly. Look at these buildings on the left. Those are the original herring curing sheds with their unique vaulted roofs. They were the economic engine of the village. Now, look to the right. Those are the exact same buildings today, transformed into the village museum, a college, and bustling shops. The community didn't just preserve its past, it built a vibrant future right on top of it. Okay, so that's the backstory. But what about Ullapool today? Well, it's so much more than just a historic relic or a pretty view. It's a living, breathing cultural hub for the entire region. Man, this town really punches way above its weight. You've got legendary music venues like the Salad Place, a thriving arts center called Antala Salais, and of course, some of Scotland's best seafood pulled straight out of Loch Broom. It's also a key stop on the famous North Coast 500 driving route and the main ferry link to Stornoway in the Outer Hebrides. And that's what's so incredible. Get this, with a population of only about 1,500 people, it's the main town for a massive, sparsely populated area. It's a place of connection, not just linking the mainland to the islands, but linking all of us travelers to the very heart of the Highlands. All right, let's step outside the village itself, because as amazing as Ullapool is, its greatest asset might just be the truly epic, almost prehistoric wilderness that's right on its doorstep. The landscape here isn't just beautiful, it is staggering. I've loved this comparison from a traveler. When you see the sheer number of lochs reflecting these jagged, lonely peaks under a huge sky, you just get it. It feels remote, grand, almost otherworldly. Comparing it to the Himalayas really captures the raw, high-altitude beauty of this region. So, why does it look like this? Well, the answer lies billions of years deep in the Earth. Ullapool sits on something called the Moyne Thrust Belt. It's a massive geological fault line where ancient continents literally collided hundreds of millions of years ago. All that incredible pressure is what pushed up these dramatic ancient mountains and carved out the deep sea lochs we see today. It's a landscape forged in fire and pressure. And with Ullapool as your home base, you can get to some of Scotland's most iconic natural sights. You could tackle the massive ridge of Bealach, you can peer down into the mile-long canyon of Corryshallach Gorge, or hike the totally unique peak of Stockpelle. You can even explore the bone caves nearby, where they found remains of Ice Age animals like polar bears. How cool is that? So, with an environment this pristine and this dramatic, both on land and in the water, you have to ask, who's looking out for its future? Well, the answer is pretty inspiring, and it actually comes from the village's youngest residents. So, who are the heroes of this part of our story? Well, they aren't government agencies or big corporations. They're local kids who saw a problem and just decided to take action themselves. This is the Ullapool Sea Savers, and their story is amazing. It all started as a primary school project to ban plastic straws in the village, and it just grew from there into this internationally recognized youth-run charity. They organize beach cleans, they run campaigns, and they work tirelessly to protect the marine life in their own backyard. And here's their brilliant strategy. They focus on the invisible. An incredible 98% of all marine life by mass is plankton, the very foundation of the ocean's food web. So they set up microscopes on the pier and at local events to show people this vibrant, hidden universe in a single drop of water. They make people care about what they can't normally see. It's genius. And this is their whole philosophy, right here. It's such a powerful, positive approach. It's not about doom and gloom. It's about creating awe and affection. By showing their community the beauty of the sea, from the tiniest plankton to the biggest whale, they're building an entire community of protectors. All right, let's bring it all together. Now that you've seen its history, its culture, its epic environment, how can you weave your own story into the fabric of Ullapool? Your own Ullapool adventure can be this perfect blend of everything we've talked about. You can start by exploring Telford's historic streets and just watch the fishing boats come in. Then go hike a dramatic peak like Stockpelle for views that can stretch all the way to the Outer Hebrides. Get out on a boat trip, especially in late summer, for a chance to see whales and dolphins. And then, at the end of the day, you can immerse yourself in the culture, grab fresh seafood right from the shack on the pier, and catch some live music. It's a place you have to experience, not just see. You see, the history of this place is layered everywhere, from ancient geology to modern conservation, from Viking farmers to young activists. It offers so many different paths to discovery. So, the only question left is, which chapter will you explore first?